there's only three things we can control: our attitude, our effort, and our response. So if I can focus on controlling those things, I'm going to, like, for example, I'm running some ads right now, and I know the old me would have been like, oh, how much money are they making me right now? What's my ROI on this ad? And I've had to surrender that and just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to act like a doctor here. I'm going to try something, and I'm going to diagnose my effort because I can control that, and then make an adjustment. So going back to the sports analogy, I'm going to take massive action. I'm going to look at that action. I'm going to analyze it, and then I'm going to make the adjustments, detached from the end result.
What if true growth isn't about pushing harder, but about finally being honest with yourself? For Cletus Coffey, that moment of honesty came after life had already knocked him down. Career setbacks, divorce, and the painful realization that he was the common denominator of it all. That epiphany didn't end him. It woke him up to do the internal work most people avoid. A former pro athlete turned high-performance coach, Cletus traded the number on the scoreboard for something deeper, a commitment to live life on his own terms. In this episode, we talk about letting go of what you're not in control of, how to shift your identity, and build a legacy rooted in authenticity, not achievement, here on Navigating No. Cletus Coffey, thank you so much for being here, man. Today, I just wanted everybody to know that we're going to dive into what it really takes to perform as an elite athlete, because you are someone who has actually lived that, and you're a professional athlete who has become a high-performance coach and a podcast host of your own, of Be the Torch. And you're helping leaders and teams and everyday people become stronger with their mindsets and break unhelpful patterns and show up as their best self, right? And whether that's with teams and organizations and companies, or you're also doing it with just men. But then I'm assuming also that you help a lot of women too, and you're just a great parent. And so I really think that your message, you have a lot of value, and I wanted to bring you on so that you could share that, because I am your demographic. I'm one of those people that you always talk to. And so I love that, because being able to share that back and forth is awesome. And so thanks for coming on.
Dude, I think show's over. I think you just completely hit it all. That's beautiful. Thank you very much. Well, I tell you, dude, just the moment that I met you, the energy that you had, I thought, I feel like I've known you for years. And dude, just grateful to join you here and be part of this journey.
Well, I wanted to give a shout out for anybody who's just listening and not watching, but Cletus wore a blue long sleeve shirt just to pay homage to me, I guess. So I appreciate that, brother. That's awesome.
I couldn't come on to the Blue Stiley show without representing or being in uniform, I guess.
Right. Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, and that's a funny foreshadowing, because you are actually going to be our last guest for the Navigating No podcast. And we are going to change it to the Blue Stiley podcast, and it will be Navigating No and Beyond, so that we talk about a whole lot more items about self-help and improvement, and so that we don't pigeonhole ourselves. But at the same time, it's like so many people have so many amazing stories and knowledge and experience to share with other people. And what better way than to open it up more with the things that the guests can bring on. And so thank you for being our final guest on Navigating No.
Dude, I get to be anchor here. Let's bring it home. Strong.
All right. I love that. Well, I love that you bring up anchor, because I've heard you speak, and I've heard some of the things that you've talked about, especially on your podcast, Be the Torch, and you talk about anchoring. And you have gone from being a pro athlete, living at this elite level in your life, and you started to forget about things down here as a family, and you went through some hard times, and you go through, let's say, challenges and roadblocks, but depression. It's like, can you talk to me about the anchor? Because you actually used a rubber band, I saw once, as an analogy about how your life, you're always chasing after that money. You're always chasing that recognition, that integrity. But it's like, you were this pro athlete who went out after something. And I would love for you to kind of explain the analogy of being anchored and what that was like for you, because you stretched out to a certain level, and it took seeing that as the analogy to kind of realize, like, wow, it's not about the scoreboard. There you go. Exactly.
I got it here with us. Those on YouTube.
Awesome. He's got a rubber band.
Always got my rubber band.
Yeah. So I would love for you to explain how you as a young athlete, and then becoming a pro athlete and getting into the CFL and moving on, like, your life was going like this, but along the time you were still feeling anchored below with family and like finance and everything. And so can you kind of hit on that of how you kind of came up with that analogy of the rubber band? Because I thought it was great.
Yeah, dude. So here's the thing. The tricky part about sports, and especially at a young age. So look, I, like many athletes, started at knee high, and we're growing into our bodies. We're growing into life at that stage. So everything is like a hockey stick of success, like growth from my body to
Absolutely.
results. I mean, everything was just like boom, rocket ship. And 3-sport athlete in high school, 2-sport athlete in college. It was never going to end. I was on a rocket ship to success. Me and Tom Brady, like, let's go. And yet when it comes to sport, interesting enough, unless you're Tom Brady, it never ends the way you want it to or on your terms.
Yeah.
And so I was just on this trajectory, this hockey stick of growth and success and results. And then all of a sudden sports ended, and I had become, like many men in this country, addicted to achieving and accomplishing. And I was at that, for me, at the height of my craft at that time. And now I had to start all over.
Mm-hmm.
And it was difficult because at the time of my retirement, if you will, 80% of my life I had been an athlete, and then I was no longer it. But I still had this mindset of I'm just going to do what I do. I'm going to go achieve and accomplish. But life has a really unique way of backhanding us.
Yeah.
And so life outside of sports didn't have the hockey stick growth and success. But I still had that mindset. And so what was happening is, for those of you on YouTube, you can see my rubber band. I just followed what I saw every other dude I knew, which was, I'm just going to go make some money. I'm going to go get a job and kill it and achieve and make some money. And it was all about this singular siloed growth. And I didn't know any different. That's what society was telling me. Just go make a bunch of money, get the family, the white picket fence, and dude, you're set.
And how old are you at this time? Like, I mean, and talk to me, you keep saying hockey stick, but you didn't play hockey. You're just using that as the analogy, but it's like,
yeah, if you imagine the growth.
Right. So
yeah.
How old are you? What sport were you like? Were you really trying to get into the NFL versus CFL? Like, what was the goal? And then all of a sudden it comes crashing down because life smacked you and said, hey, you're not going to be Tom Brady.
Yeah. Well, the quick and dirty of it is, yes, I was a small college football player, the decathlete on the track team. And 2 weeks after my graduation, I had previously I had signed a contract to play in Canada. I was a Saskatchewan Rough Rider. So 2 weeks after graduation, I'm on a flight. It was my dream, Blue. And I didn't really care what sport I played. I just wanted to be a pro athlete. I grew up in the 80s and the 90s where marketing was just coming into bringing athletes onto TV, and Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan was like, I want to be one of those guys.
Absolutely.
And so I was living it. Like, here we go. And then that was my awakening to, oh, this is a business. I joined a very veteran team that actually went on to go to the Grey Cup, which is the Super Bowl of Canada. I got cut for the first time in my life. I had never not started on a team, let alone been cut. And then it was like, oh, and we can dive more into this, but that's when I was first awakened to the scoreboard of life, in that I judged my self-worth and my identity based on my results. The scoreboard. And so I was cut, and immediately, I don't know where it came from, but it was, oh man, maybe you're just not good enough to play here. Oh yeah, maybe, what were you thinking? To think that you could go be a pro athlete. But I somehow, at least in that world, I was very confident in myself. So I, immediately signed another contract to play. In the late 90s and early 2000s, the Arena Football League was at its height. ESPN, Kurt Warner, my very first game was against Kurt Warner, Hall of Fame quarterback. And so it was here. I was there. So 4 years into breaking my leg. First time I really had been injured significantly in football. And at that point, I take a year to rehab. I come back. I got pins and screws. I get all that taken out. I'm 28 years old. I'm in my late 20s. A guy coming off an injury. There's not many teams that are looking for someone like me. So I shut it down. And now I'm in my late 20s thinking, okay,
Now what?
now what?
Yeah, absolutely. And are you still in Canada when this happens? Like, were you living there or were you in Seattle? Like, where are you?
Yeah, I came back, played in the Arena Football League. Portland, Oregon used to have a franchise.
Uh-huh.
And so played 4 years in Portland, and that was the end of it. Met a woman, moved to Seattle, and so I started this brand new life with nothing but a resume that said college degree and pro athlete.
Right. Well, and I just want to say, like, I've worked with so many athletes, and being an athlete myself, it's like as soon as it's done, like you're tied to your identity is tied to what you did, right? Like it's like if I play baseball my entire life, if have done karate and martial arts my entire life, then all of a sudden it's like, now what? Because I can't kick anymore, I can't punch anymore. What am I going to do? And that's what gave me the most pleasure. That's what gave me the most reward in life, and where I met my best friends, and everybody else is still moving, and I'm like left alone, right? Like it would be, I'm snowboarding, I break my arm, and all of a sudden I'm just sitting there, I'm all sad and depressed. And then somebody says, well, everybody knows you're depressed, but you're ruining everybody else's day, right? So it's like, come on, let's do it, right? But it's hard. What are you going to do? So you're in Portland, you're in Seattle. What are you going to do? And so what was the trajectory there? What made you go chase after your next dream?
Yeah. So the thing about it is, if you're, I mean, gosh, even guys in the NFL, unless you're getting one of those big contracts, it's not like, when I retired, I didn't have time to really sit down and like have a cup of coffee. Like I need to go get a job.
Right.
I didn't have a whole lot to bank on. So, and really at that stage, society kind of gives us two options. And I'm really generalizing here, but honestly, you'd be surprised how many just go do these two options. As a former football player, go be a coach, because heck, your sport, go be a coach, or go into sales. Like that was it. You're an athlete. You ought to perform.
Pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, pharmaceutical guys. Insurance is a big one for former athletes. And for those that align with it and it turns them on and excites them, awesome, that's amazing. It didn't for me, even though I tried both of them.
Do you think that connects with your scoreboard analogy? Like it's easy getting into sales that you see the scoreboard as the result. That's what you want to get to, right? And it's like, but that's not the game. I mean, that's just, you can't control the scoreboard. And I know that you're going to dive into that, but do you think that that's why you kind of go to that? Like they're great at sales and representational like that. Is that the connection?
Yeah, the connection is, hey, you know how to work on a team, you know how to set goals, you know how to drive, you know how to prepare yourself and go after it. You're hungry. So that's the attractiveness to a lot of those athletes in sales.
Love that.
And for me, it just
wasn't your jam.
Yeah, it just didn't for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it wasn't your thing, but you still need to make money. And so you're in your mind, you're thinking, okay, how do I make money?
Yeah. So here became the biggest shift in my life, which was, I got to make money. So I got a job parking cars in Seattle. And so like, I'm immediately going, okay, 6 months ago, I was on ESPN. I had friends calling me, asking me for tickets. I had people commenting on the game, signing autographs. So now I'm parking cars. And I'm going, okay, this is just temporary, just to get to my next step.
Yeah.
But it just was eating me alive, because especially at the time, this is like early 2000s, a lot of the guys that I met, especially up here in Seattle, man, they were getting stock options from Microsoft. There was this new company called Amazon that everyone was all hyped about, making money. And I'm going, I'm parking cars. I'm not making much money. And I had actually a friend of mine, and then my father had been in the real estate space down in California. And there was this bubble that was growing in the residential lending space, mortgages. And so for me, I just said, I need to make money. So I'm going to go chase money. I didn't constantly say I'm going to chase money, but that's what I ended up doing. I'm going to go chase money. I'm going to chase this bubble. And that's what I did. Everybody was making money around me except for me. And I'm going, okay, the issue, it's not the issue that I don't know what I'm doing, that I'm lost, that I'm afraid. It's that I need to own my own business. I don't want to work for anybody. So I started my own company. And this was the delusion of me and this unwillingness to connect with what was really going on for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, I was just trying to chase money, but I was deathly afraid. I could step on the football field, boom, and boom, got it, locked in, training, gone. And to this day, locked in on training. When it came to business, I was afraid. I didn't believe in myself. I was lost. You know, that they call it the 900-pound gorilla, that telephone to pick up and actually call someone and
Mm-hmm.
prospect. And I struggled with that, but I faked it really well because I could communicate,
Mm-hmm.
connect with people, I can build relationships. So ended up starting my own company, got the nice downtown Seattle office space, borrowed money from family and friends, hired some people, had the nice little entryway. And then 2008 hits, 2009. As I'm just like, okay, we're making a little bit of money here.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, recession hits, gone. Like gone. I'm relatively newly married. I have a son, another one on the way, and it is gone. I was in the fetal position for at least a week.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
Sick to your stomach.
Sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
And because I finally kind of found something that I didn't really enjoy it, but at least, okay, it was making some money.
Yeah.
And that was,
and was yours. And it was yours.
Yeah, that was mine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I didn't necessarily like the business side of it, the actual industry, but being an entrepreneur was the closest thing to feeling like an athlete again. And I like that.
Love that.
So I wanted to go be an entrepreneur. I didn't know any entrepreneurs. I didn't know anything about business. And I was hiding behind the truth about who I really was. I was showing up inauthentic.
Yeah.
And, case in point, man, I would go to networking events. And because, we're supposed to network. And all right, I got a business, I'm going to network. But it was almost as an athlete, I never wanted to show up on the field less than perfect, for fear that if I didn't, I would be pulled off to the sideline, sit on the bench,
benched,
lose playing time, lose my scholarship, not get paid, lose my contract. So it was just like, there was this pressure to get on the field and perform. I'd show up these networking events with that mentality. I can't look weak. I can't look like I don't have it put together. So I'd show up desperately needing clients, desperately needing partners. And I'd meet people and they go, oh, tell me about your business. Oh, I got this amazing, super cool. And it was a lending company. Like there was nothing beautiful about that.
Sure.
But I would glossy it up because I didn't want to look just like a lending guy.
Yeah, yeah.
So I gloss up, we're doing these unique real estate deals, and I just kind of just BS people to death. And then walk away with no new partners, no new potential clients, no one really even knowing what the hell I was even doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I couldn't for the life of me go to these networking events and say, hey, I'm new, I'm lost, I need business, I need partners. Do you have any ideas?
Awesome. Yeah.
I just couldn't get myself to do that. And thus I sucked. I failed.
Okay. So here's my football analogy. On the next day, did you look back and say, oh, why didn't I do that? Why was I afraid? Why did I not ask for that? Why was I not open and authentic? And why did I not become vulnerable in the moment? Is that something that kind of went through your mind right after a networking event that you said, okay, next time I'm going to do better?
Absolutely not.
Okay. All right.
I couldn't.
Yeah. You were terrified.
My ego would not let me do that.
Okay.
That was not a very good event. There wasn't good partnerships there.
Sure.
No one really wants to do business because it was always someone else's fault. It was always someone else's deal. It was never me.
Mm-hmm.
There was so much fog in front of me. I couldn't even see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I had people telling me, my ego was in the way. I couldn't see it.
Well, I love that because you mentioned two big things there. And I think one of them is that your jumping in there and you're letting that pride get into your way, right? And so you're like, oh, okay, I can do this, but you're not asking for help. And in my experience, and I'm assuming you've found this too, especially in your coaching business and your consulting, your speaking business, it's like there's no greater way to succeed, whatever success looks like to you, than to surround yourself around somebody who you can ask their help and they're willing to show it, how they did it, right? Like a mentor or an instructor or a coach or a life coach, someone who's gone through that pain and they can show you the way. And if you're vulnerable enough, they're usually willing to help you too, right? And so it's like, I love that you hit on that you realized like, oh, I'm missing out on that because I'm not asking for that help. But then the other part is that you played the victim, right? The blame game. And I cannot tell you how many times I go to any event, I speak at conferences, whatever, and people are like, oh, it wasn't a good conference, blah, 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 blah. It's like, but what was the silver lining? Like, what was the nugget that you took? Like, what did you learn? Because I can learn from anyone at any conference, any event. Like, I can learn from the craft service person. I can learn from the barista. Like, oh, tell me a story. Like, there's no one who I can't learn from. But that takes being vulnerable and being authentic to yourself for sure. And so you were terrified, you were scared, your pride was getting in the way. What was the click? What was the switch that worked for you?
Divorce. And look, for a lot of men in particular, just now having gone through this, it oftentimes takes an apocalyptic event for a dude to pick his head up and go, okay, hold on a second. And it was a very challenging time. You've got the business collapse. You've got the whole industry collapsing. We've got a money issue. I've got a new family. And then I've got me who's isolating and saying, I can do this on my own. Like, I got this. And my wife at the time, I would even tell her, like, okay, no worries. Like, I got this. I go out and just suck for the day, trying to find jobs or come back. Okay, like, I'm getting close. I'm feeling. I just couldn't even to her say, I'm lost. I don't know what to do. I felt like I had to take these reins and own it and play this part that I wasn't. I don't know who I even was, let alone how to create something. And so really, it took, she actually strayed from the marriage. She went and found somebody else that could give her that, what she was looking for. And, when that all came to a head and we went through a divorce, and it was just, even at that time, I'm going to pause for a second because I just feel from what I've gone through now is that we come into this lifetime with a series of constraints that the lessons are going to continue to be presented to us until we are willing to learn that lesson. And this was a huge lesson. And even in that moment, it was her fault. She strayed. She found someone else. She had the affair. She ruined this family. And man, there's plenty of people out there that would say, yeah, you're right. You totally did.
Your support system.
Yeah, support systems and, so all the stuff. And that energy in which, here's the real, I was suffering so much shame and guilt and fear that I was vibrating at just a very low level. And I was attracting people and situations that vibrated at that same level of shame, guilt, fear. And it was struggling because, like, I'm a nice guy. I want to do the right thing. I'm a people pleaser. And yet I continue to attract, a marriage that ends the way that it did. Business partners that were convicted felons. I'm going, what the heck is going on, man? And what happened was I was so angry, so shamed and feeling guilty that I'm gonna show the world. So I went out and got into another relationship, thinking that was gonna solve it. Well, I attracted a relationship that was toxic, that was rooted in shame and guilt and fear. And it wasn't until that moment where I just took a huge step back, got away from that relationship and said, I'm the common denominator here. What the heck is going on? And that's where the light of freedom finally like cracked out of my chest, because I realized that I'm the problem here. And I've been telling myself these series of lies my entire life that I believe.
Well, not only are you believing it, but it like money's going to solve all my problems.
Yes.
Money's going to solve my marriage. It's going to make my wife happy. Money's going to give a better life to my kids. And I'm going to be successful again. I'm going to get this recognition again as the autographs or the ESPN highlight videos. It's like you're chasing these things that you're expecting to give you something in return. And the reality is it's not. The common denominator is you. I mean, I could have all the money in the world, and if I don't know how to spend it right and finance it correctly and budget, I'll lose it. Like some of the big lotto winners, right? And it's like, I think you're tapping into like something special where, okay, so you're lifted, you're becoming free. You become free.
Free, dude. And free because for the first time in my life, I tapped into the beginning of the real me and showing up authentically as myself, raising my hand, asking for help, communicating that I'm hurting, I'm lost, I'm embarrassed by this track record of these past relationships and how I couldn't make them work. And now I'm a single dad and I'm stuck and I'm lost. And I picked my head up and I looked around. The 5 closest men in my life, all divorced, all either single fathers or, they had partnered back up with someone. We never talked about it. Other than how's the crazy ex or, other kind of BS, stuff that
surface level crap. Right.
Yeah. We didn't talk about it. And so I said, I'm going to start talking about it. I'm going to go on a podcast. I'm going to share it on my content. I'm just going to say, here's my shit. And at that point, that brought power back to me, because what is anyone else going to say about me that I haven't already said about myself? I own it. I went through these challenging times. I'm stuck. I hurt a lot of people. I get it. And I found a real me in this process. And that talk about coming from a place of shame and guilt and kind of moving up the consciousness ladder to coming to, awareness and love, collaboration, that started to draw to me different people, different opportunities that vibrated on that level versus the people that I was showing up as, connecting with on a much darker and challenging level.
Well, okay. So you're talking about like acceptance, right? Not blaming and accepting you're this common denominator. And it takes 2 to tango on everything, by the way. It's not all 100% one person's fault, but it's like accepting that I'm a part of that problem. And so what are the problems that keep coming up? And so you're hitting on that, you become free, and it's like this giant relief comes over you. And it's accepting that you are around a batch of people that kind of bring you down. You're attracting this negativity. You're not bringing the positive net magnets towards you. And so you have this, what was the trigger that you talk about it being the divorce, but it was like, you have this epiphany of like, oh, okay, I was the problem. How am I going to grow? What was the mental picture that you created? Because I know that ties into your podcast too.
Yeah. So the whole idea is, look, I was in a dark place. Yeah. And there was a moment in time. It was a dark Seattle rainy night. I had just done the drop off with my son.
It does not rain in Seattle.
Oddly enough. And it was 4 p.m., dark and rainy. And I was just sitting there, and this rush came over me of, someone please come save me. Like, I just was like, I'm going to pray right now that someone can just pull me out of this car and save me, because I'm in such pain right now. And it was that moment where I realized the obvious thing, which was, no one's coming to save me. I got to do it myself. I have to get myself out of the darkness. I have to lead myself before I can lead my children. before I can lead another partner, if that's the route I choose to go down, I got to be able to lead myself first. I got to become the man capable of having the business of my dreams, to attract dream clients, to attract a dream partner, to be the father that I know I want to be for my children. I got to become it first. Mm-hmm. And it was just the analogy of the torch. Like, I got to light myself on fire to lead myself. No one's going to come to me with the light. And I thought, I got to be it first. And then I can be an example of what is possible. That became my vision. I just want to be an example of what is possible. A, for my children, and B, for others. But I got to be able to light myself out, create the light to get myself out of this darkness. And dude, like moth to a freaking flame, man. Once you light that fire, it's amazing the people and the opportunities, people like yourself that it's not magical, man. But it was intentional, come together mm-hmm. and can collaborate and build friendships and build relationships. Mm-hmm. And so and for a lot of us, man, we it's not that the fire's gone. It was just dimmed. It was like a little candlelight,
So how do you add kindling to that fire to burn it again, right? How do you get it up and rising faster? And I think I don't want to hang out with Eeyores. I don't want to hang out with Eeyores. I love helping people, but I don't want you to like bring me down every day either. It's like, and when you're absolutely, truly kind and optimistic and happy, people come out of the woodwork, man. They're like, I love your attitude. You're magnetic. Like, how are you so happy all the time? I'm like, well, what else do I have to be mad about and sad about? I don't blame other people. I have to take responsibility, which is one of the things that you realized. But it's also like, we're going to get hit with a whole batch of crap through our entire lives. And it's like, if you don't get that home loan, bummer, there will be another home loan. If you don't get that job, there will be another job. If you didn't win that game, okay. If you didn't sign for to be on the New England Patriots and somebody else did and they took your spot, okay. It's like there might be another spot for you in another team. And it's like there will be a tomorrow. And if I know that in my mind and I can be that light that brings other people, I'm just on a happy camper. And my wife always makes fun of me. She's like, you're a little too happy, right? And it's like, I just love it because it's like, it is magnetic to be happy and positive and optimistic around other people, because that's what I want to be around. And I want my kids to see that. I want my family to feel that. I want my friends to feel it. I want my business to be like that. And it starts with you, because if I'm a sad panda, everybody else is going to know it. Everybody's going to know that I broke my arm when I was snowboarding. They're like, you're kind of a drag, man. Like, this isn't fun. You're bringing everybody else down. It's like, whoa, that was a smack across my face where I'm like, my actions have consequences, whether it's verbal or nonverbal. And so I'm like, I have to change my attitude because everybody else sees that. And everybody's going to live that. If you just lost your job, you've got to accept it and you've got to move on, man. And I know you speak on this and I know you coach on this. And so I would want my listeners to know something like, what is something that you would tell our listeners? Like, how do you start? You're in that dark place. You're coming out of this depressed moment. Like, oh, life sucks. Like, what am I going to do to become the light? How do I turn the light on? What is the one thing that you would tell our audience now to start doing?
Yeah, no, I love this, Blue. Great question. And this was the needle mover for me, is realizing that life is a mirror, and all the results that we have in our life, in our business, in our relationships, in our health, is a reflection of how we and what we believe about ourselves. And so I'll take you back to the relationships that I was in. I was attracting these relationships that were, going through infidelity, toxicity, abuse. I'm going, what the heck? And the natural reaction is to point to them and say, well, they're the problem. Mm-hmm. Those relationships are the problem. Once I learned that, hold on a sec. I'm attracting these things in the first place because I'm the issue here. Mm-hmm. I am the reason why my business wasn't flourishing, because of how I saw myself. I was attracting opportunities and relationships that were challenged because that's how I saw myself. I saw myself as dysfunctional, as I was abusive to myself internally. That all the negative thoughts.
Absolutely.
Life is a mirror. The results that you're getting are reflecting back to you. Your relationships are reflecting back to you that which is unhealed inside of you. And they're telling you that that's what you need to work on. That's where you need to get better. Instead of looking outside of ourselves for the answer, we got to go inward. And the environment around us is giving us the answers based on the results. It's reflecting back to us. So my friends who are listening, you have to take inventory. What's the results you're getting? And if you don't like them, or if you do like them, it's a reflection back as to who you are. You being this friendly, positive type guy, and people are recognizing that, you're getting feedback from them because that's who you are generally. So we got to look in the mirror, and that's going to give us the reflecting back to us where we need to work, what lessons we got to learn, or where we're unhealed, and truly how we are viewing and value ourselves.
I completely agree with that. And I would add one thing, and that is like, if you can attach yourself to people, because you're not alone, you're not the only person who's ever gone through this, and being willing to ask for help from other people, right? And having like, if I know that you talk about, like, I know on your podcast and on your coaching program, it's like these men's groups that come together and you can learn from each other. Cause you just mentioned, like, you had 5 friends that had gone through everything that you had, but you were not talking about what was really going on, right? Like, hey, what's your favorite movie? That's not what we're talking about. Like, let's dive deep into what the problems are. And so connecting yourself to people that can uplift you, and that you can realize you're not alone going through this, and you're not the only person who's ever gone through it. But then also, what did they do to get out of it? Like, because if you and I are talking about some of the same things, like, oh, well, yeah, when I go to a networking event, like trying to get my speaking business up and running, it's like, what hurdles, what problems, what challenges are you running into as a self-employed entrepreneur, a contractor, like as a speaker? What are you doing? What are you finding that is working for you? What's hitting? Like, do you spend money on ads? Do you go all in on YouTube? Like, what are you doing? Because maybe if I'm communicating that and you say, Cletus, I'm not very good. Like, I'm missing my YouTube channel. It's just not growing like I want. What are you doing? And by me being honest with myself and saying, and being vulnerable and saying, Cletus, I'm not Joe Rogan. I don't have 100 billion followers, right? Like, but you have more. What did you do to get out there? By making those kinds of relationships and connections and connecting and being vulnerable and saying, I'm not that great, it opens up to you telling me how you did it. And maybe I'm going to get a nugget out of that from you. And maybe it does foster a relationship with us. But then at the same time, I can learn from you, and something that you say might actually help me.
Mic drop. You nailed it.
They don't drop. They're stationary.
Yeah, no, that's it. I compete against me. I don't compete against you. What can I do today to get better than I did yesterday? And if we can come from that standpoint, that's, Blue, we have a lot of parallels, but yet there's something that you have that I don't understand and I can benefit from. So yeah, coming from that collaborative mindset. And I love getting men together, because we got some guy who's killing it in business. We got another guy who's got an amazing relationship, another guy that knows how to keep his body fit and lean. And like, we all can collaborate and share with
mastermind.
Mastermind. How you doing?
But see, that's what we used to do as teenagers, right? Like, you would sit around and you'd talk to your buddies, and you're like, oh, how did you go talk to that girl? Or how did you get enough money to save for a car? Or are you going to the gym? Like, do you lift in the morning? Like, you're so curious. And I think as an adult and middle-aged men and women, it's like, we lose that curiosity. But if you can go back and think about, like, what did kids do? What did you do as a kid? You were curious. You always wanted to learn, and you were like looking for new challenges. But now it's like we're scared to death of stepping outside our comfort zone.
Yeah, no, and I love it when a man can step into his vulnerability, and because you see the growth, and women as well, when they can step into that and really recognize, like, oh my gosh, like this feels good to talk about what's going on for me. It's like men, middle-aged men, where we don't want to talk about money. We don't want to talk about ED. We don't want to talk about, sex. We don't, and it's, for guys who are, for example, I'm a single father. I've got a girlfriend now. I have a business that's growing, and it's like there's so much that I would like to learn and grow. And like, how do you navigate this world?
Mm-hmm.
Being open and honest and vulnerable is that key, and that gives us, back to our rubber band analogy, that lets go of the anchor, and that way, in at least in our family and our fitness and our fortune and foundation and connected to a higher power, like we can grow collectively, and they may not be all on the same level. We can grow at the same time. We don't have any one of them anchoring us down.
And for people who aren't watching, he's holding the rubber band and he's pulling it apart with the other hand, and it's like stretching extremely. It looks like it's going to break, but
Right.
then he put his fingers inside, all 5 fingers inside the rubber band, and opened it all at once, and it grew. But everything's growing at once, and I love that analogy because I can go make as much money, but then I'm forgetting about my family. Right. And I'm forgetting about my kids, or I'm forgetting about the car payment. Things start to slip. And if that breaks, the glass ball breaks, like it's like, oh, there's no repairing that. So to be able to go out and be able to see that as an analogy of a rubber band growing all at once, where you're growing, but your life is growing, your lifestyle, your family is growing, your kids see you growing and they're growing because of it, and your wife is growing because she's supportive and she's gaining the confidence. It's like this giant organism that is growing. But it's almost like, I want to compare it to like wealth building, right? Like a net worth.
It
It's
is
like everything is growing. Okay.
Yeah, wealthy in love, wealthy in health, wealthy in money. Well, that's your wealth. A great way to point it. It is. You're growing your wealth, and we're not leaving, because especially for men and women, always eye roll this because duh. But it's like, men, we're like, oh, let me go make the money. Let me go build the business, like we were talking earlier, and then I'll take care of everything else. Yet we can't even get to the rubber band can't stretch any farther. I've reached my capacity and my ability to grow my financial wealth because I haven't paid attention to everything else down here. And then I get sick, boom, snap back. Or divorced, snap back. And then I'm going, oh, what happened? What?
And you're starting over at the bottom every time. Let's start to grow. But if you continue to take that rubber band and every time pull it out, and it's eventually going to snap. That's golden.
Look at the wealthiest men of our time right now. How many of them are in these amazing glossy relationships, right? Gates through divorce, Musk and Bezos. I mean, it's just, men consistently focus on that avenue, thinking that that's my goal to achieve and accomplish, is fogging us from what really matters most, and pouring our efforts into creating the lifestyle that we really want, then fitting the business in there.
Well, you teach leaders and organizations about mindset, and what do you see the biggest gap in our workforce or in our relationships is right now? Like, what would you tell them?
Yeah, so it's in our leaders. I talk with these leaders like, oh, our culture is so super off, or they're not buying in, or they're not working as a team, and it's because the leaders aren't working as a team. The leaders haven't bought in. And so it's going to the leaders and getting the leaders to stop showing up with, hey, I'm the leader and everyone listen to me, and getting a leader to show up vulnerably, openly, and say, hey, I'm stuck right now, team. I don't know how to move the needle here. And I'm looking for ideas. Or, gosh, you know what? I'm having some challenges in my life and it's affecting me. Getting them to be just like the individual, open, honest, real, get to the truth. People respect that. People will go to battle for that. Mm-hmm. That leader who's up there, Covey talks about this, Stephen Covey, and the leader's up front with the hatchet going through the forest, just boom, boom, boom. The people are behind him are like, all right, where are we going? I don't know, but let's go. And it's just getting leaders to tap into themselves, being real, authentic, showing up as themselves that people can resonate with. I can't resonate with a guy that's sitting up in the perch in the glass in the office,
in the boardroom, right?
In the boardroom, who's just, I can't resonate with it.
Yeah, well, and I love that you say that, because ironically, hearing what you're saying, I'm thinking like, well, if I'm a leader, I'm going to go in and go, hey, everybody, I have I have cancer. Like, well, that's a different kind of opening, but it doesn't have to be extreme to gain the trust and respect of your people, for everyone to know that you're authentic and real. It could be as simple as you walk in and you're funny and you laugh at jokes and you compliment people. And it's like laughing and having fun in the workplace can be just as authentic. So they know that, oh, he's not a robot, right? He's not way up here. He's like us and he speaks, or she does this. And it's like, it's just having these, you mentioned it, relatability, right? And it's like, oh, that's a common connection. Now I can get behind them. It doesn't have to be some like dark secret of being authentic. It can be just like being a little more open with everyone around you.
Blue, there's nothing wrong with coming into the office for the day and saying, hey, everybody, I'm only operating at about 75% today, but I'm going to give you 100% of that 75. And let's go, versus faking it and propping it up, hyped up on caffeine or, something like pretending like you got it all together. We can feel it. We don't have to see it. We can feel that disingenuous position that you're taking. But if you come real, just be like, man, I don't got it today, but I'm going to give you the best of what I have. And let's make it happen.
Well, I think that's true. I want to switch gears here really quick because you'd mentioned something like that. And that is that, you were a high performing athlete, right? I think I'm a pretty good athlete because I can go to the Y and swim a few laps, but I'm not an Olympian, right? There's a difference on that level, right? And so you as a high performing athlete, as a professional athlete, your drive is so much higher. Your 100% is like this. Do you feel like you're at that level now? And your level now, do you know when you're not working at that 100%? Like you can honestly say like, I'm having one of those 75% days, but I'm going to give you 100% of that 75%. Do you know, how do you take working at that high level of an athlete and apply it to that 75? Is there like a little trigger? Like what is your thing that that you're at that 75, but you can give that 100% of that 75?
Yeah, dude, this is awesome because this is the awareness piece that I did not have for years because I would just show up faking it. And it actually goes back to my morning routine is super dialed in. It has been for years now where I lock in on me so that when I'm done with I'll hit, I do focus, fitness, fortune, family, and foundation. All 5 areas that's the Be the Torch framework. I hit all 5 of those. And it's simple. It's not this big, long thing. It's like my 5-minute gratitude journal, blah, blah, blah. Quick, depending on the time and what I have, a meditation, connecting with the kids, connecting with, my partner, doing something to move my body. Sometimes I got time to get to the gym. Sometimes it's just some crunches in the bedroom, something I did it consistently and I check it off. Now, when I'm done, I got a sense as to where I'm at. I've checked in. I've got a gauge. Man, you know what? I just don't feel it today. Or I'm feeling a little off. Or I'm locked in. So I've got clarity so I can step into my day aware of where I'm at, and I can be real with myself. And I can be real with others versus trying to prop it up as how, and this was the big thing for me, Blue, showing up as someone that I wanted other people how I thought other people wanted me to be, showing up as to how I thought my customers thought I should be, showing up as my partner, showing up as how I thought she wanted me to be. Now I can show up as me. I don't care what you have to say about it. Yeah, I take it back. Obviously, I care what people think, but it doesn't matter. I'm showing up as me, and
But then you can focus on what you want to do. You can focus on being your healthy lifestyle, accumulating your wealth, and I don't mean financially, of all degrees, right? And focus on you adding that kindling to your fire so that you can continue growing. And I love that because if your flame goes out, you can't help other people, right? And that's just something that I hear you saying. It's like, well, if I had a flame, I want to help other people light their matches too. Right. And it's like, if your flame's out, you're not helping anybody. And so you have to worry about yourself first. Right. And so it's like the old flight attendant adage where like, put your air mask on, your oxygen mask on before helping somebody else. Like, take care of you, because when your flame is bright and burning, you can help other people. And what greater reward than to actually help our community grow and become better?
The core, if you can think of the Venn diagram of my program, at the center there is what I call a legacy of freedom. And I was going through this round and round, like it's freedom. Like we want to have freedom. We want to be free. And so much of our life is trying to get freedom. Even in football, I was trying to get free of the tackle. Like I was trying to, I wanted to be free. And freedom is at the core, but it's not just freedom. It's a legacy of it. It's generational. I don't want to just create a freedom for myself. I want my sons and my daughter to see what freedom looks like so they can shape it for their life. Now that's a generation of freedom that's being passed down. I want to pass that torch to others to be that example of what is possible, that they create a legacy. So at the end of the day, now for a lot of people, and I'll just speak to men particularly, men want to have a legacy. And legacy isn't in those dollars and those cents, man. It is in the freedom that you lived in your life, my opinion, and then how you were able to share it with others and be that torch to light someone else's, in whatever capacity.
Yeah.
So that they can experience or work on a path to being free for themselves.
That's so true, Cletus. It really is. And it's like, I think that you're tapping into so much more than just like, self-awareness, but it's also like, how do you tell people, because I'm hearing you also say like, I'm going to stick with your sports now. How do you tell people not to zero in and focus only on the scoreboard?
Yeah, I love it. And let me tell you where if I may, just tell you where this came from, especially as athletes. Let me ask you, Blue, because you played sports in your younger years, let's say one of your parents didn't come to one of your games and you come home. What's the first question that they ask you when you walk in the door?
Well, my dad would ask, like, did you win?
Did you win? Boom.
Yeah.
Perfect. And so what happens is, that's pretty much all of us, that we're asked a question by someone that we love and we care about something we can't control. We cannot control the scoreboard. And Bill Walsh, the Hall of Fame football coach, San Francisco 49ers, Stanford Cardinal, even wrote a book about it. The scoreboard will take care of itself. We can't control the scoreboard, yet we were conditioned at a very early age, knee high, that what matters most is a scoreboard. Because when we walk in, we go, yeah, we won. High fives, kisses, popsicles, hugs, like we're all right. When we lost, ooh, what's wrong? What happened? Did you not play very well? And so for my parents out there, give yourself some grace if you've asked this question. I know I did as well. The more thought-provoking question when they walk in the door is, hey, where'd you get better today? Because what that does is it puts their attention towards something they can control. And so that's, and it translates over into life after sports. And when we get as adults, because, Blue, you and I we're in Spokane and we're having a backyard barbecue this summer. And, you lean over and you go, man, the neighbors down the street, the Joneses, man, they're really successful. Well, what does that mean? Well, because the nice car on the driveway, their sweet vacation pics on Instagram, their nice house. We say successful based on the scoreboard. What happens is we are attaching our self-worth and our identity to the scoreboard. So what that looks like is, well, if I don't have what other people have, or I don't have what I had last month, what's wrong with me? I'm not good enough. I'm not very good at my business. I'm not very good at my career. I'm not a very good partner. I'm not a good dad, mom. And we just, boom, we go in on ourselves. The truth of it is, man, that all that stuff on the scoreboard just exists in this 3D realm that we're living in. That makes us human, but not being. And so getting people to surrender the outcomes, the scoreboard, it is going to be what it is. And if I can just focus on the being element of me and the truth about who I am, stepping into that way, when we do experience something on the scoreboard, we actually get to enjoy it. I mean, how many times you hear guys going on vacation, they spend 10, 15 grand, they take their family on vacation and they're working, or they're thinking about work. They don't get to experience a vacation, nonetheless enjoy it. Then they come home and they go, oh my God, that was such an expensive vacation. And No, we have to break free of that and focus on that which matters most. And that is connecting with the being aspect of ourselves so that we can experience and enjoy the things that actually do show up on the scoreboard.
Oh, that and what is on the scoreboard are your experiences, are your memories, are on the influences that you create, the impact of the people as a parent, like your kids. I love that you said like, what did you improve on, right? Instead of like, did you win? And my wife and I, whenever our daughter's about to play soccer or any sport, and our son's too young right now, but we're like, what is your goal today before we play? And it's to have fun. It's to score one goal. It's to help a teammate out or something like that. It's like, give them something that's not just go win, right? That's not what it is. It's what is your goal today? And she always comes back with these great answers. I'm like, okay, I wouldn't have thought about that. But it's like, it's also giving her power to voice her own self, right? And it's like, oh, this is what I want to work on. But it's not what my parents want me to work on. It's what I want to work on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it does. It relieves her pressure of I have to perform at the certain level and I have to win or anything like that. It's like, I'm here to do X, Y, or Z.
Yeah. And 100%. And as much as the kids can benefit from it as adults, if we can take a step back and say, I'm doing this for the only thing, there's only three things we can control: our attitude, our effort, and our response. So if I can focus on controlling those things, I'm going to, like, for example, I'm running some ads right now, and I know the old me would have been like, oh, how much money are they making me right now? What's my ROI on this ad? Yeah. And I've had to surrender that and just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to act like a doctor here. I'm going to try something, and I'm going to diagnose my effort because I can control that, and then make an adjustment. So going back to the sports analogy, I'm going to take massive action. I'm going to, look at that action. I'm going to analyze it, and then I'm going to make the adjustments, detached from the end result. Yes, I have goals and I have dreams for what I want to create, but putting myself in, identifying with that was sucking the life out of me, and it wasn't getting me where I wanted to be. So now it's like, okay, let me take massive action, let me analyze it, make the adjustments that are necessary.
You're critically thinking and you're strategically thinking rather than being emotional about it and taking it personal and then letting it depress you and hold you back and ruining your family, letting your rubber band snap back. And it's like you're growing. You're taking that feedback and you're improving yourself and you're learning. That's exactly what the whole premise of our podcast is. It's like you're learning from all of these challenges and all of these setbacks and these failures. And it's just making you a better person if you're willing to be curious enough to continue to grow, because you can quit, but that's failing. And you were able to pick yourself up. And I'm assuming that is what I want you to tell the listeners a little bit about your podcast, about Be the Torch. Like, what could our listeners expect out of listening to some of your podcast episodes?
Look, there is so many podcasts out there where they interview somebody and that individual. Cletus Coffey, endless podcast people. And that individual talks about all the highlights. Mm-hmm. This is how I made a 7-figure business, and this is how I did this. I'm going, hold on a second. I'm in the hard stuff right now. Tell me about the hard stuff. What the reality that you went through. And I just didn't find a lot of conversations being had around that. Mm-hmm. And so I just said, well, that's what my podcast is going to be about. We're going to say, hey, look, the highlights are great. And we can just look online and look at how many Instagram followers you have, or look at the wealth of your business and all. Tell me about the hard stuff that you went through or that you're going through. Make yourself human. And so I tell my guests that come on and say, hey, you better be ready to have a real and raw conversation. And if you're not, that's okay. It's just not the right platform for you.
Yeah, but absolutely.
I want to know the human side of things that my listeners can resonate with and go, that's me.
If you were to tell our listeners one thing from our conversation today, and you would want them to change, what would you want them to hear?
The truth will set you free. And I'm talking about the inside of us, the little lies that we tell ourselves about, I'm not very good at this, or I can't go into this industry because of all these different reasons. Or even the lies that are stuffed down, that we've stuffed down forever, that we're just living from. Our body is just unconsciously operating from, and just getting still and tapping into what is the truth about who you are, your character, your values, your past, and taking ownership and responsibility. Get to the truth, own that, take responsibility, and my friend, it will set you free.
Well, see, that's a mic drop right there, and you can't turn that thing upside down. So that's awesome. Well, I love that, and I think that that's so imperative of like for us just to own yourself. It really is, and it's like you've mentioned so many nuggets today and so many takeaways. Whether you're talking about leadership, or you're talking about a parent, or you're talking about just a man who's gone through a divorce or gone through heartache or losing a job or not getting that signed contract. And for kids too, who are like, what is the goal today? Like it's not to achieve the scoreboard and have just the win. It's like, what is that scoreboard really supposed to look like? It's supposed to be all of our memories and our experiences and the people that are around us that are going to remember us, not the score. Right. And I think you hit on so many nuggets today, Cletus. So I love that. Where can people find out more about your coaching, your speaking business, and then your podcast?
Yeah. The hub is just CletusCoffey.com, and coffee is COFFEY, CletusCoffey.com. I'm at Cletus Coffey. How many Cletuses out there on all socials? And so I love this, a blue and a Cletus coming together. And so
my college best friend Rufus, he just came to visit, and it's like we reminded each other of like going out in college. People are like, "You have dog names." Like, yes, thank you very much. So it's always awesome to meet somebody else who's gone through life with an amazing name, right?
Yeah, definitely, always a conversation piece for sure.
Yeah, and what about your podcast?
Yeah, the podcast is simply Be the Torch. You can find that on all platforms. And by all means, if anything here inspired you and prompted you to kind of want to learn more and you want to accelerate that, if you just go to CletusCoffey.com/book a call, we'll get on a call, have a conversation.
Well, and you're heavily on LinkedIn too. And so I would tell people to definitely connect with you on there, especially within companies or leaders looking to what the value you could bring. So thank you so much for being a guest today, Cletus. And thank you for opening up yourself and being authentic, because I think you hit on so many things that were so important, that as a parent, as an entrepreneur, as a man, as someone who's never gone through a divorce, but I had parents, I wish that you could have talked to my dad, and I think that's something that I wish that he had heard, because divorce is no easy feat. And I think you hit a lot of nuggets, and I wish that a lot of people could hear that out there, that you're not alone. And it's like, you have to be authentic to yourself and not to throw the blame game, brother. So I appreciate that.
Thank you so much for having me, man. Keep doing the good stuff.
Well, I'm going to keep looking at you. We're going to add all your links in to the channel. And I'm just looking forward to brainstorming, being a part of your confidence team, because I would look forward to that, and being on the stage with you one day. And then also just to see where you go, because I know you're going to go places. That rubber band is not going to go like this. It's going to go like, wah, like the giant blob, brother.
That's right. Absolutely.
Thanks, Cletus.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to Navigating No. If this episode brings you value, or you know someone who could benefit from it, the best way to support the show is by sharing and subscribing. It's completely free and helps us reach more people. And if you have any questions, feedback, or guests you'd like me to interview, drop a comment while you're there. I'd love to hear from you. And most importantly, thank you for tuning in. And let's continue sharing optimism and positivity.